Charlie Lawson. Hi, Charlie.
How you doing, Mark? You all right, son?
I'm very well, but listen, mate, don't get ill anytime soon. Is this NHS crisis self-inflicted?
Well, I think a part of the self-infliction, if you like, is I was hearing stories the other day of people are going to hospital with colds and just banging up the whole system. It's wise up, people, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? You've got a perfectly good pharmacist and all the rest of it. Now, I'm very lucky where I live, Mark, because Macclesfield Hospital, we've had nothing but great care and attention over the years. Debbie's been there a couple of times, and they've been absolutely brilliant. And I don't think they're out on strike. I mean, it's self-inflicted. It's been self-inflicted. I see the front of the Daily Mirror is blaming the last sort of regimes, if you like. Well, let me tell you, the NHS has been going down the frigging toilet for as long as I can remember. It's as simple as that. Nowhere else in the world follows our system of national health. It just doesn't exist. And I have a feeling that it's in its last throes. And I have a feeling that there will be some form of insurance but the trouble is that most politicians are scared to touch the NHS because it's become a sacred cow. You know, it's rather like stopping the boats crossing the channel. The only reason people aren't taking strong measures is because they're scared that the crap hats on the opposition benches, whatever side, are going to call them racist. It's as simple as that. And people are scared. Same way with the NHS. They don't want to touch it because it has become a sacred cow. But it is getting found out, and I think it's sadly on its last throes. But as I said, the most of the nurses I've come across do work very hard. And playing golf with a doctor, you get the truth on the golf course. And when you play golf with a doctor, he will look around quietly, make sure no one's in hearing as he's about to putt, look at the ground and say, the NHS is shite.
Well, there you go. You can't follow that. Listen, Charlie, the royal soap opera has exploded back into life today after Prince Harry's sensational accusation that William assaulted him during a heated exchange back in 2019. You were no stranger to a scrap during your time playing Jim McDonald on the cobbles in Corrie. And it's safe to say you're pretty well versed in familial fisticuffs. Take a look.
Keep away from me! Keep away from me! Or I'll kill you, so help me God!
You see, I save your life and you repay me with a threat!
Don't you dare speak to me like that again, son! It was a joke! Well, I'm sick of them!
I'm not going to get on the wrong side of you anytime soon, Charlie.
Well, I'll tell you what, that would have ripped his necklace, eh?
Just a bit.
I'll tell you what. I certainly would have got up like a crocodile and hit my brother right back in the kisser. That's for sure. But anyway, listen, I've kept out of all this, Mark, as you know, because I'm a sucker for romance, and I wish them all the very best. When back in the day when everybody did. I'm afraid he's losing the plot now, and I'm wondering where his friends are. I'm certain if he had some veteran friends, they'd be having a go at him about this head score of 25 members of the Taliban. If you talk to any veteran who's down the pointed end, and I have done, and the last thing they really want to discuss is scores. So I just wish he had some better advice. And the other thing I'd like to say to Meghan is, darling, if you think you're having a hard time by the press, do yourself a wee favour. Turn on Netflix and watch the documentary about Britney Spears. Then you'll see SHI1T. I watched it the other night and it was extraordinary. And I think they, look, I hope they just shut up when the contract ends, because the British people can be forgiving, but I think in this case they've burned their friggin' boats.
Briefly, Charlie, you mentioned the military. Harry's boasting that he's killed 25 Taliban, which many security experts are saying will imperil Harry's personal security and the security of his own family and of the security of all royals. A very foolish boast to be making that you've killed 25 terrorists.
Well, like I say, even I know soldiers who are in the conflict back home and they don't talk about stuff like that. The boys I know who've did 2 or 3 tours of Afghanistan, they will talk about it in the quiet of the back bar, but it's not something you go on television and talk about. And it's a bit of a letdown, I think. I can only assume that was this in the book, Mark, or on a live interview?
It's a leak from the book.
Yeah, well, I can only assume that when the editors got their teeth onto the book, they'll have said, right now, Harry, son, we need to put some real nitty-gritty stuff in here, and I want to know how many people you shot down in your Apache or whatever, you know, or how many people you hit in the ground, because he surely can't be that dim to expect no repercussions from this, because, as I say, all the veterans I know would not discuss this in public at all.